Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, welcome to the January meeting of the East Lampeter Sewer Authority. And present we have members Vinny Patel, myself, Rick Robinson, Todd Stump, Gavin. Yes, we are. Weeksley, Charlie Woods, Kim Patrick, Peter. We also have Matt Seachy and Sawyer Alice. And on Zoom, we have member Fred Clark, Mr. Fred Clark. And can you hear us, Mr. Fred Clark?
Can't hear.
What's he saying? He can't hear us?
Can't hear us.
Hi there. There's Tara.
Hello, Tara.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, we're good.
Thank you for joining us, and I invite you to pledge the American flag with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next thing on the agenda is reorganization. And I guess that means this board here would also probably mean accounting firm, engineers, and law firm, right? Correct. So I don't know, I mean, just the original discussion we had up here, and I think we're all okay with status quo, how we're set up now. Is that correct? When am I assuming that? Yes. And so all in favor of the board staying as it is, say aye. Opposed? So moved. We're looking for a nomination of what is it? Nicholas Company. I think this
So
is,
you want to appoint Nicholas and Hohenadel as your solicitor,
that's,
and then you would want to approve Herbine and Company for the audit of 2025 financials. If you agree.
yeah. Engineers,
I'll make a motion that we, count of Herbine and Company, engineer of HRG, and our solicitor, Nicholas and, Hohenadel.
Second.
did you get them all?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. The minutes for couple of weeks now, unless there's any additions or corrections to the minutes as they are written. Thank you, Gavin, for that.
Thank you.
They'll stand approved as written. I didn't see any errors when I read them, so. Treasurer's report, sanitary sewer.
Checks that need written in the amount of $6,195.36. And as of the end of December.
No, you're on sewer authority.
Again, that number was $6,995.36, and as of the end of December, we have a checking account balance of $3,789.42. So we will, as is normal, when we need the funds, we will deposit $15,000 into the checking account.
Requisitions.
There's two requisitions. The first is requisition number 03-680. This is payable to Herb Golden Group Inc. for work relating to the Pump Station 2 elimination, design and permitting, the Strasburg Pike Sewer Extension, design and permitting, and the retail redevelopment project. Next is requisition number 03-681. This is payable to see the Wilmington Trust. This is the trustee for the component of the City of Lancaster, also Gardens Pump Station and Stevens Avenue Pump Station Intersector Capacity Evaluation and Condition Assessment. This is for the amount of $386,466.97. This is for that's the agreement that was approved last month.
Looking for a motion to pay the bills and requisitions.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion, we pay the bills and requisitions.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills and requisitions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Stormwater.
The checks that need to be opened, $372,965.77. We have, as of the end of December, an account balance of $4,252.72, so the appropriate funds will be transferred to cover the checks.
Looking for a motion to pay the bills for the stormwater.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills for stormwater.
And do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, old business. Barry Stewart, CFA fund.
With CFA funds, I'm working on finalizing the requirements calls for deletion of the projects to CFA. Having the contact is sending up the well, we can then eliminate those projects that come out being. The North Pump Station 2 elimination project, I'm working on finalizing the design drawings and project manual. And I think I'll have that wrapped up here ready, probably Monday or so. And be ready for getting that for bid here this month. We've received all the permits for the project, the agreement or the easement agreement. They sent me the Oaks HOA easement agreement. I'm not sure where we stand with Mr. Nisley. We've heard from that. With that easement agreement, but that's the one outstanding item I'm aware of right now on that one.
That was between Mr. Nisley's attorney and Matt Green. So I'd have to check to see where we're at with that. I know there's some negotiation going back and forth. I think his sister needs to notify about it. Kind of agree.
So I still think we could likely advertise for that project, you know, and without having that, we just can't do any work on this property until we have that in place. We'll that, once it's completed, for that, we can do it. So. The other thing I know, sometimes we've advertised for a project. Are we still advertising in the Central Penn Business Journal? I don't know where I know we've done that probably a couple of years ago. We used to go there. I don't know if that's where the township's going now or if you're using a different one for public advertisement purposes.
Well, it was like, what, 1/10 of the cost of the Lancaster newspaper.
Yeah,
Through Penn Vision.
it's gonna be listed on Penn Video.
That's basically what the advertisement said.
It's still fairly lengthy. Yeah, I don't think that's changed. It's all the documents from Penn Video. So.
Yeah, there'll be access to Penn Vision.
But I'm not sure like what the township is advertising it for authority, you know, meetings and such. And we can look. There you go. We don't need to answer today, but I know like, I think you have to post like for the meetings for the year, like will be held and like when you post those, like does that go to Central Penn or do you use a different newspaper?
That goes through Lancaster newspapers. We do one posting for all of the meetings for the entire township, except for zoning hearing board, because those are as needed with applications.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I tried to answer before, but apparently you couldn't hear me.
So does this advertisement have to go to LNP or can we do it in Central Penn?
It should go to LNP. It's still the publication of record for Lancaster County. Look, I don't like spending the money just as much as everybody else on here. So, but it should go to LNP.
I know years ago there was. Need that.
We can. We work with
Matt-
them. Work with township staff.
You are correct. We did use Central Penn Business Journal for a long time when they were a weekly publication, and that was permitted, but they no longer are.
Okay.
Maybe now that LNP is a nonprofit, they won't charge as much.
And that's what NP stands for, right? Nonprofit.
We're definitely not down CFO funding and Station 2 remediation project. Stratford Pipe Project.
After last month's meeting, we got comments back from DEP on our water encroachment, water obstruction encroachment permit that was submitted to them. And that is the permit that's needed to cross Mill Creek. And there's another unnamed tributary there that crosses Stratford Pike. We were proposing to do a horizontal directional drill crossing of the stream to minimize impacts into the stream itself. And DEP came back looking for a lengthy list of additional work that they wanted to support the trenches crossings. They were looking for investigations on all wells in the project area, bore camera investigations of the wells, fracture analysis of rock in the area. Like if they said like where could any drilling material go? Like what would impact, you know? They were going to draw down test of wells to see if there's any impact. So after seeing the length of information that they were looking for, had conversations with township staff, and we decided to pivot the method of crossing from trenches crossing to crossing creek. That would require a culvert and be constructed. It's been done before. We thought the trenches would have less impact. We revised our permit documents and resubmitted that at the beginning of this week to DEP for open cut calls of the net. So that work's been done. Again, that just got submitted to DEP at the beginning of this week. And with that, still need to just finalize that project. Maybe want to get the Oaks pump station outdoor first and then focus on this one here. So I think that one would be February, so a few weeks behind. We would likely go, we may not have that permit in place before we would advertise, but again, we can't do any work until we have it. But at least get that contract. And I know Solicitor Kareem's office is also, I don't believe we have any yet, but they were sent that in December for that project. So again, we can't do any work until we have it for that.
We do have the PennDOT permit.
I'll say this for both, not only Strasburg Pike, but for the Oaks. I mean, we do not have much margin for time to get pushed at all to be able to get it. Am I correct in saying that we have, it's got to be done by and submitted everything by September 30th to get our CFA funding?
Correct.
So you mentioned maybe working on the Oaks before Strasburg Pike, but can you work on them both?
Okay.
I mean, I just think anywhere we were, you know, and you're dealing with DEP, you know, you never know what's gonna come up. I just, look at the stress of the urgency to
Understand, we can definitely get them both where we can.
to help.
Yeah.
Because even plan bolts down, you know, for the construction for Strasburg Pikes, the end of it, for the Oaks is, well, it's 14. I mean, sure, we're all aware of deadline.
We agree with you, Todd. We understand this timeline is very tight and, you know, we want this, we don't want to lose the money.
Thank you.
Is there any other old business under sanitary sewer?
Not on the agenda, but just for the board's information, we did provide the comments that we had. This is regarding the Rockvale redevelopment project. There was a lengthy discussion last week and we took the board's decision, relayed that information back to the developer, their engineer, to proceed with conceptual plan, along with the comments that we had on the plan itself, and that was provided to them. So I know they're proceeding with that. I got an email from RGS looking for any record drawings we may have of that information. So we have some drawings. I have to see if they're record drawings or not, but we can look at that and provide that too. I think what they're looking at most is anything related to the siphon crossing the creek, because it's not a straight pipe project. It goes down and then the creek can back up. But I don't think we have. We can provide that on.
See what we've got. We should.
Yeah, I've heard they have met with some property owners with respect to easements and such like that.
Okay, moving on, our old business. Says none here on our agenda. Not hearing anything, we're gonna keep moving. New business under sanitary sewer. Partner meeting.
So in your package, you have a handout that we yesterday from the quarterly partner meeting. With that, we highlight a couple different items with the project, the position that we approved here today was for the Conduit Gardens pump station, the Stevens Avenue pump station. You can get an assessment of the interceptor piping, so City and CDM are gonna be proceeding this spring with inspecting those pipes, the existing interceptor that's in the ground, to determine the condition, you know, is there in good shape, things need repaired, if there's repairs or replacement are necessary, identify that work, what that would then entail, and then come up with design of that work and then moving forward through construction with that as well. But this is the one where East Lane Peter has the majority of the percentage. You're 90% cost as compared to other projects where you get. That is work that's proceeding. The city has updated on the left by 17 sheet, which is sort of projects list. In the third column, to the right, they put in the payment dates. And there are a few projects here that are in the near future, with dates of February, March of 2026. Was as the meeting that we haven't seen agreements yet for these projects. So these are intended to probably slip by a month or two, but I think it is going to be the first half of this year. Projects. The city reported that they've submitted for Penvest funds to cover their costs on two of these projects, which were the higher costs. Penvest hasn't awarded that funding yet to them either, so I think some of that will have to wait until they hear from Penvest that they're awarding those funds. So I know last year we were looking at drawdown schedule for remaining funds and an estimate of that, and information we have as to where this process.
Yeah, they received some of the Penvest. I think I need to have Scott here in March, because they're substantial. Yeah, you're looking at over $1 million, $2 million. So if they're Penvest funding, they're supposed to hear about that by the end of this month, Matt. They submitted
There's something here later this month, and then they still have to close on their funding too.
Yeah. So if they do get their Penvest funding, if they don't, then we don't need to have Scott in here in the field that soon. But if they receive it, we need to. Yeah. We talked about February, but you won't go until the end of January if they receive their Penvest.
Yeah, say, that April 2026. We'll know what's gonna happen then. I'm looking at project 13.
Where do you see April 20?
Sorry, I'm looking, you look at the far left side, it gives a project number.
Yeah,
And then on the right side, the third column from the right says escrow payment date.
that's April 17.
Well, I'm looking at
April
project 20. There's the design fees of the solid processing and handling facility upgrade for the treatment plant. But that's estimated to be. Well, so there's gonna be some larger fees coming through this year. We talk to the city.
Side there, I mean, if you're
Great.
Okay.
Go ahead and add to that.
I'll add something to it, just to inform the authority that, Fernmore is going to be here at the February 11th meeting. There's a proposal in which Fernmore hired GMF Construction to file for a grant, in which the township sewer authority will be like co-sponsoring basically. There's going to be a cooperating agreement will be signed between Fernmore and the township, in which there's going to be a revolving fund that's going to be fed by Fernmore. Fernmore is going to incur the cost of the consultant to oversee that plan. But they will be here in February to present.
Yeah, he'll explain all that. Plus, I reached out to Bernadette today and she agreed she'll be here at that meeting.
Other new business under sanitary sewer. New business under stormwater, it says none.
An update that I had, Mr. Rehab should be close to finishing if they already did for this first round of storm sewer. We'll be looking at what we're going to videotape in 2027 and what they're going to be working on lining in 2027. I think the lining area this year is going to be the Greenfield Industrial Park area. And I think we have about $2.4 million set aside. That's what I have, storm sewer.
I just had, just an update. We spoke about this before, but Kelvin Fire been given a bill for a little over $326,000 for the period of July to November. Then we're just going to continue to issue bills as the data comes in. We did just get an email. They received the bill. They're requesting how to pay it, I guess. So, and then also we received a very late notice of score on DEP. That's going to take place on January 27th and 28th. So we are preparing for that audit.
Good luck.
Yeah, there is a possible they want to look at. They want to look at our facilities, they want to look at our records, past everything. It's
3 days of that.
2 days. That's what they're saying right now.
3 days or no?
Pardon me?
When they go more than 2 days.
But there could be interviews with staff, they, police officer side say, what's your duties at a vehicle accident? You know, they carry the absorbents in their trunk and everything. But of course, public safety is first. And then they're all trained and they all have an SOP that they protect the and everything. So they're aware of that. And Chief was informed at our meeting and he knows it's coming. So he's going to inform his whole staff.
As well as all of the public works guys have been informed. And I think Vinny, did you ask if it would be more than 2 days?
Yes.
Yeah, it will not be more than 2 days at this point, but they can come back if the information they get is not sufficient.
Okay.
Have you heard, Tara, these audits countywide, or we just drew the unlucky straw?
Well, you know, if you recall, authority members, and maybe not Gavin at the time, but the remainder of you were on the authority when we had the first one. And we did really well in that one. We had to provide one piece of documentation that we didn't have as part of the overall program. And we were able to do that within the day. So we did really well. We're really hoping that we're on the same page. And I haven't heard of a single other municipality, Todd, that has been given a straw to even pull.
Is this a regular scheduled thing, like every couple of years, or it's just announced?
They just pull it.
You always find something.
Oh, yeah, they're not always look what we're doing, right? They're coming to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
As Tara said, though, we have monthly meetings amongst staff. There was tailgate trainings amongst public works guys. We have everything recorded, everything's written down. So I feel pretty confident about it.
It'll all be uploaded prior to the audit. So
If you want to look at it, it's going to be stacked paper about that.
Take one of them along.
What date was that, Tim? Oh, thanks.
Back to Kevin Fire. Because they were issued the quarter or the monthly sewer bill based on the flows. Do we have to do anything with EDUs yet or tapping fees or? Just,
I think what happened is we were waiting to bill their reserve 35 or 36 EDUs and bill that. Sent out, and it explains in there you're getting your bill, but this is on top of everything. So we don't have to go track your time, staff's time, and attorney's time. And they're aware that that's what we come from. So
$320,000. Is that just for 4 months? We're $80,000 a month there?
the water usage that they were shutting down our sewer line. We've got to pay the city for flow, whether they're treating spring water or discharge water. So what we're doing is Matt figured everything out, and that's what it turned out to be, the amount. So we're getting our money back from what we had to pay the city.
He said expensive bone broth.
That skid just went up.
Wow. Any other new business under stormwater after the stuff you guys added? Any other business?
Just a couple updates, the tapping fee that you all adopted, $4,058 for connection. That took effect 1/1/26. The Board of Supervisors have also passed the increase of the quarterly billing from $95 a quarter to $100. So that also took effect 1/1/26. Well, the voting base, the first billing will start till April 1st, like the second.
Do the supervisors ever consider discussing that with us?
Raise of
Rate increases and stuff like that.
the 95 to 100.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, it was involved with that. Tara?
Yeah, the way the agreement is written is that the Board of Supervisors has the authority to increase the quarterly EDU rate, and the authority has the ability or the prerogative to increase the tapping fees because you are doing the overall larger capital projects and the township, per the agreement, is doing the maintenance on the system. We can absolutely ask, though, that the board have those discussions with the authority or bring it to the authority. But you are a decision-making board in and of yourself, and as is the board. You're unlike the Planning Commission, which is a recommending a board to the Board of Supervisors. Does that help, or did I confuse it for you more?
Fine. I just, I mean, I guess looking what our funds are and stuff like that. I mean, and to me, it not necessarily needed a price increase. That's just my opinion, but
well, I think you're seeing the capital projects.
okay.
You're not seeing the operation and maintenance costs or maintenance of, flushing of the systems, the things that public works staff is doing on the sewer system. You're looking at the cost of electricity to operate the pump stations and other facilities and things like that. So I think it's chemicals and all those things that are part of the sewer system operation budget that goes to fund that. I guess that's more covered by the township and the Board of Supervisors.
Those costs are considered as part of the township operations and included in their budget, not in our budget. Correct?
In Fund 8.
Yeah, if you look at the budget that was approved and scroll down through and it starts out at 8, that's the whole sewer operation. So you can look in there and see how much money is going. Like chemicals alone, I think is around $70,000. 70 to 80 just for chemicals that we got to put in the system.
How long has that been at $95?
I believe since 2016. Is that correct, Charlie?
Yeah, I was saying 10 years.
Well, it seems like a long time for only a 5% increase.
We would
It's-
agree.
It's on the lower end.
Yeah,
Whole town.
if they're just from the other boroughs, township authorities. I'm also pay about $125 a quarter.
Solaris is 137.50, I think now.
What's that?
It's, Suburban Lancaster, Sewerville, not sure, 130, they're 137.50.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are definitely still on the lower end.
Any other business?
Can I ask the question back on Kettle and Fire? Because I couldn't quite understand the conversation. Are we metering the actual sewer flow out of that property? And are those numbers anywhere? Because they're not on this spreadsheet, or are they?
So there's a temporary flow meter that is on the discharge line downstream of Kettle and Fire. But the velocities that Kettle and Fire is discharging through that meter exceed the capability of the data, or the capability of the sensors. So there's a question about the confidence of that data itself for the discharge meter because it fluctuates in the velocities.
Right.
So what we determined is we have actual water meter readings that are going into Kettle and Fire. Kettle and Fire informed us of the product that they're discharging and selling. So we've subtracted the product that they're selling from what's coming into this facility, saying that that is then going into the sewer system. That was the number.
Yeah, I'm just saying on a process like that, there is a lot of steam generated because of those steam boilers. There's a lot of water consumption just goes out in the steam. So it doesn't go down the drain. So if I were Kettle and Fire, I would only rely on the actual sewer outflow because the water, the product is, yes, one calculation, but the water that is used in the process, because there's so much steam, it goes out in steam. It doesn't go out in drain. So I don't see how you can possibly calculate this unless you do it by sewer.
We've talked to some flow meter manufacturers if there's a different style flow meter that could be set into the current configuration. Everyone seems to have the same issue with the current configuration of the discharge line. It go through, we'd have to look at having Kettle and Fire reroute their system, having a different way to have a more reliable discharge meter put in. It's something that they're evaluating, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, there's so much flow going by, it's actually zeroed out the meter.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
There's so much flow going through by the meter, it's zeroing it out.
Yeah, I understand that we have a hard time measuring the sewer outflow. I'm just saying if I were Kettle and Fire, it's just not the product I'm producing. There's a lot of water being used just going up in steam. It's still a freaking huge number, but there is a number there.
If they get their new system implemented that they've talked about with being able to recycle, not use water for cooling, I think the desire is that all the water that they're using is going to be significantly reduced. If that's the case, perhaps that discharge flow meter, we then get back into the range that flow meter is and have better accuracy, more confidence in those numbers that's being metered as well. I think that's something else.
Yeah.
I think it's actually looking at too.
Yeah, to install this new equipment, the permits are either at the third party review or they've been issued. I'm not sure where we stand with it. To get this new equipment in to try to help this problem.
So you might have mentioned.
Fred, they meaning Kettle and Fire received the spreadsheet as well as the letter with the figure on it, so that they could come back to us at any point and say, we disagree, but we have not had that conversation. They have just turned around recently today and said, how do we wire you money for this? So I understand what you're saying, and we're open to listening, but they haven't opened that conversation with us. The other piece of that is we have no water readings for May and June because the city didn't put their meter on until the end of June. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. And so we don't even know what to bill for those 2 months. And they're only going to get a bill for 35 EDUs for those 2 months.
Right, I'm just saying, I'm only bringing it up as a point of fact that if there's going to be negotiations, that is something that they would negotiate, but down the road, shouldn't this really be a metered customer?
I think you're correct. And I think that's going to be part of the correction actions that the city is going to require of this user.
Okay, I'm just saying that I just didn't make sense. The numbers didn't make total sense to me. I mean, it is a big number, but there's a percentage there that is not going down the drain.
Well, we don't need Fred advocating for somewhere nice.
You know, I'm advocating for fairness because you don't want to collect a big EDU bill and then 2 years from now, you have to pay some of it back.
I agree with Fred.
Yeah.
At the same time, we don't want to charge nothing or 35 EDUs
Oh,
and have to chase them down in a few years, right? Like it's a chicken or egg here.
no, I agree with your position. I agree with billing it. I'm just saying that there needs to be some type of better metering because these numbers are not totally accurate.
With that too, would the township need to get involved to update their sewer billing to allow a discharge meter? Because I don't think that's currently exists.
That's correct.
You're right. That was bringing up the next question because we have to update our
Ordinance.
ordinance. We have to update our ordinance to allow for industrial customers to charge by outflow. I'm just saying it's gonna be a problem someday. And for the next Kettle and Fire, you know, it's something ought to be thought about.
I agree. There were a lot of lessons learned here through this debacle.
Yeah, I don't mean anything's been done wrong. I'm just
no, I hear you.
just trying to get, you know, for the future, let's, you know, study this and get it right.
Agreed.
I look at residential, you know, and we all pay $100, you know, a quarter or whatever, and I'm a single guy that lives by myself, as opposed to a family of 8 that are taking showers, and I mean, they use a lot more sewage, you know, I mean, is that fair? I don't know. You know, to measure it out.
Yeah, now you're down talking in nickels and dimes and here you're talking millions. That's where I draw the line between, you know, a single EDU residentially Yeah, but it goes to the value of your property as well. You can sell your property and maybe who's moving in would be a family of 8. So it's worth the value of your property. But this industrial stuff, we need to have updated ordinances and we really need to address this type of industrial outflow.
Agree.
Because I don't see how a project got billed for what, 32 EDUs or something like that before it even got started, and how that even went through. I
They
mean,
were-
that
yeah,
was
they
the numbers, that was the numbers they gave us, so I guess that was what
I was gonna
was,
say, their design engineer gave us those numbers. That's all we had to go on.
yeah. Okay.
Any other business?
I just want to let you know that the forecast meeting letter should be going out tomorrow, our annual meeting, and it's going to be on February 3rd at Lafayette Fire Company. But everybody will be receiving a letter to respond.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
All right.